Hey, I'm finally back again on this channel. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Saturday. Before we start, let's get into my nails, okay? My nail tech killed it. She absolutely killed it. I'm so in love with my nails. They absolutely made my day. Absolutely made my day. And I cleaned and ran some errands, took another shower, got into my cute little lingerie, and I'm wrapped up in my blanket because I'm all cozy. Ate some food, got my water, sipping. So yeah, we are gonna get into quantum leaping today. So under classical conditioning, I guess what you would call it, here in the world, you are essentially taught that in order for you to achieve something, you have to do it through a series of steps, right? So, they train you to they train you to believe this through the educational system, right? So, you have all of the grades that you have to go through, right? And then once you accomplish getting through all those grades, then they expect for you to go to college where you'll go through, classes and years of different years of different grades, years of different schooling. And then they expect after you're done with that you would meet someone, and then once you meet someone, then you would get a house, and then once you get a house, you'll be working in a career. So you're conditioned to do everything through a series of steps. So a lot of people will believe that, oh, I won't become a millionaire until, I'm like 50, or I won't achieve whatever it is until I do XYZ, until I do all of these things. It's kind of that mindset where you're afraid to do something because you don't feel ready. So you're like, no, I can't teach people, you know, um, how to, do tarot readings because, I've only learned tarot and like I've only been able to do it for, like 2 months. Like I'm not ready yet. You know what I mean? I have to go through all of these steps and I have to do all these things before I teach people how to do it. So essentially what quantum leaping is quantum leaping is when you bypass the step-by-step progress that you've been conditioned to believe that you have to undergo to be able to get what it is that you're trying to get, whether it be success, whether it be wealth, whether there is a skill you're trying to strengthen. So maybe you want to be a better public speaker. Maybe you want to gain more confidence. Maybe you want to change your physique. Essentially, you're going to bypass the linear growth and you're going to shift into a new reality, a new identity, and a result that will be at the same frequency of what it is that you want to have. And it will kind of come out of nowhere that what it is that you've wanted. So I've quantum leaped several times. I have quantum leaped several times. So for instance, I remember when I had first got my first degree, and I was like, I want to work at one of the most prestigious hospitals. Okay. Like I want to work at one of the most prestigious hospitals. And like I wasn't even graduated yet. And I was like, I want to work at one of the most prestigious hospitals. And I was like, you know what? Because no place near me in Indiana was hiring. No place would hire me because I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes with my personal life and oversharing and letting people know too much. So I ruined my own reputation. So none of the people in Indiana would hire me. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to work at one of the most prestigious hospital, even though I'm a new graduate. Even though I'm a new graduate. And so my first job was actually at Northwestern as a new grad. First job was at Northwestern in Chicago as a brand new graduate. And then I quantum leaped again. Because Northwestern, I mean, like they expect for you to have experience, right? They want someone that's like seasoned. They normally aren't going to hire someone from the outside unless you like went through the university and like you actually like was a student at Northwestern. It's very, very rare that they're going to hire a new grad outside that did not go through the university. So I quantum leaped there. And then I also quantum leaped in my career because I wanted to learn breast ultrasound. And where I was working at the time, they didn't want to teach me how to do breast ultrasound. They absolutely refused to teach me how to do breast ultrasound. But I'm like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. My scanning is great. I have a very strong emotional tie to breast because my grandmother's a breast cancer survivor. My aunt's a breast cancer survivor. But all of those older texts are just trying to make it seem as if like I had to like earn my, way, and I had to, pretty much have tenure, and just wait for me to learn how to do breast. And I was like, no, like I have the skill set. In my head, I'm a breast tech already. So I was like, you want to know what? Bump this. So I started looking for another job, and this place had called me for an interview. At the interview, the lady has said, I need someone to fill a breast position. Would you be willing to learn breast ultrasound? She's like, I need someone that would be willing to do it full time. And I was like, hell yeah, like, yes. So I quantum leaped in because those ladies at the other job, they were like, you're too new of a tech. You need to earn your stripes first before you learn how to do breast ultrasound. You need to learn how to do this. You need to buy in your time. And I was like, no, I'm there already. Like my skill set is there already. I don't need to do any of that shit. And I'm not going to do any of that shit. I'm not going to wait 5 years to learn how to do breast ultrasound. I refuse. So then, yeah, I ended up quitting the job, and I got hired at a place that taught me breast ultrasound. And I ended up doing breast ultrasound like exclusively for the 2 years that I ended up working there. So the way that I was able to quantum leap is because, like I keep telling y'all, I already was that person. Even though I wasn't doing breast ultrasound, I already was doing breast ultrasound in my brain. Even though I wasn't working at a prestigious hospital, I was working at a prestigious hospital in my brain. So because I kept aligning with that frequency, and because I already allowed that to be embodied within me, I was able to get it faster, right? You matching with the frequency of what it is that you want will allow you to be able to quantum leap, right? So quantum leaping has a few like scientific roots, and you can like look all these like philosophers and people up, okay? I think the most popular is Neville Goddard. So he's like a mystic philosopher, and essentially, like I like his belief a lot. And essentially, he believed that the imagination is the true fabric of reality. So it's kind of like that cliche phrase when they say like if you believe it you can achieve it, or if you can see it you can achieve it. Essentially playing on the idea that whatever it is that you imagine yourself doing repeatedly, it will become your reality. So when you it's kind of like the law of assumption, but for yourself. So, when you assume the feeling of a wish fulfilled, your outer world is going to rearrange to match it. So I remember I would envision myself like working in like a nice city, and like walking from my car to the nice city into a prestigious hospital. I would imagine myself like doing breast ultrasound. I would imagine myself like being a content creator. I would imagine myself like you just have to imagine like if you want to start making a certain amount of money a month, and you're like, I want to start making 20K a month, get your phone out and open up your bank app and be like, pretend like when you're looking at what's in your bank, pretend you're looking at $20,000 and sit with how it's going to feel. How is it going to feel to see $20,000 in your bank account? How is it going to feel? However you visualize yourself confidently. So how does your body look? What clothes are you wearing? Where are you living? How are you speaking? How are you smelling? How are you presenting yourself? You need to envision yourself as that person and like really feel it, like really, really, really feel it inside. Like, how do you feel when you are this person? Because you are that person. You're that person already, right? You have to know that you are that person already. Another philosopher too is Heisenberg, Werner Heisenberg. So he was a physicist, and essentially he introduced the idea he this is physics, right? Quantum leaping is based off of physics. So essentially he introduced the idea that electrons don't move in a straight path, they jump. So like anyone that's taken like anyone that's taken like a chemistry class or anything like that, like they literally call it that, electron jumping, right? So when you're like doing the equations for you to add or subtract electrons, you have like the little circles around the element, and then when you want to like add electrons or add protons, you get rid of a circle or add a circle, and you have them like jump from like another one to add more. Yeah, they don't go on a straight path. And so that was the origin of quantum leaping, right? It is it's a sudden change. It is a discontinuous change that does not go in alignment with this step-by-step process that you have been conditioned to believe is true. You don't need to have a step-by-step process. You don't need to have a step-by-step process. If you align with the frequency of where it is that you want to be, you will jump to that place. You will jump to that feeling. You will jump to that achievement, essentially. And then another one too is Jean Paul Sartre, I think it's Sartre, I believe. Um he's like an existentialist, essentially, and he has a belief where, like, as a human, you're not fixed. Okay, like, you're not fixed to work the same job. You're not fixed to only have one career. You're not fixed to only have one path in your life, right? You are whatever you choose to be, right? So, if you are a bricklayer today, you could be a doctor tomorrow. If you are a lawyer today, you could be a stay-at-home mom tomorrow, or you could be a business owner. If you're living in America today, you could be living in Costa Rica tomorrow, right? You have free will. You have the choice of what it is that you decide that you want to do with your life. You are not just forced or stagnant into one position. You don't have to live like that. And so Jean pretty much believes that your reality responds to your act of self definition, right? How do you want your life to look like? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to see in the mirror? And then how are you going to create that reality that is going to respond to the self that you want to be, right? So, a big reason why quantum leaping is very, very useful is because it breaks the tradition that growth is slow, that it's very rigid, it's very patriarchal, and it's very linear. Okay, a lot of the reason why people don't want to go after their dreams, a lot of the reason why a lot of people are afraid to start the groundwork on what it is that they want to accomplish is because they're looking at it like I'm gonna start all the way down here, and then I gotta go from here to here to here to here. And they're looking at the road ahead, and they're looking at the road ahead as this uphill climb. And that's discouraging. That's the reason why the system is set up the way that it's set up. It's set up in this step-by-step system on purpose to discourage you from wanting to achieve anything, from wanting you to just take the step to do what it is that you actually want to do, because no one really wants to do something knowing how much work they have ahead. So quantum leaping, when you quantum leap, you understand that doesn't exist. You don't have to go in this, you don't have to see things as an uphill battle for you to be able to accomplish something. It is not going to require all of that, right? So when you're quantum leaping, essentially quantum leaping will allow you to collapse timelines, right? And also bypass your subconscious programming, which is what I explained to you with your school step-by-step linear programming. And then, jumping into things like love, jumping into wealth, jumping into confidence, jumping into peace by embodying it first, not waiting to deserve it. The thing about it is that a lot of people believe that you have to wait. You have to wait to deserve something. You have to be in a predicament where everything is perfect. You're perfect. You have your life all sorted out. You've done everything it is that you need. And so you have to be in a state where you have to deserve something, and that's not true. Okay, that's not true at all. You don't ever have to put yourself in a predicament where you feel like you cannot have something or you cannot obtain something because you don't feel like you deserve it. That's where like imposter syndrome comes from, right? Imposter syndrome, a quick way to get rid of imposter syndrome is just quit relating your accomplishments or what you want to accomplish based off of your like validity, or based off of like how worthy you are based off of like you accomplishing something in order to deserve something. No. That takes a lot of energy and it's just not necessary. Okay. It's not necessary. You have to let that go. You have to let that mindset go because it's not true. It's not true at all. And that's what creates that imposter syndrome when you feel as though you're not deserving of things. You question your skill set. You wonder if you're good enough. Because the last thing you want to do is like fall into all this wealth, fall into all this success, fall into all this confidence. And then you feel like a fraud because you feel like you haven't done enough to be able to be credentialed essentially for you to be able to have knowledge. And that's another thing too. I feel like we're starting to see this more and more, especially with the age of social media. I really do feel as though credentialing is slowly going to start withering away. And the reason being is because like having credentials, don't get me wrong, it is important, you know what I mean? But come on, how many people do you know have credentials and they still don't know what the fuck they're doing? Or they have credentials and they still don't have any wealth? You know what I mean? Reason being is because a lot of people think, well, in order for me to have what it is that I have, like I have to be credentialed in this thing. Well, if you have to work up under somebody or like you have to do something that has like a level of legality, well then of course you have to be credentialed for those reasons. But it's like, for instance, let's say you're in school, you're doing a program for Pilates, right? Let's just say you're doing a program for Pilates. You actually might have you already are seeing, this is quantum leaping. I'll explain. So you're in school for Pilates, you're taking the Pilates course, right? To become a Pilates instructor. Most people would say, you want to know what? I'm going to be a Pilates instructor for 3 years. And then once I'm done gaining my experience of being a Pilates instructor in 1 year or in 3 years, then I'll open up my own Pilates studio. Quantum jumping would be you envisioning you owning your own Pilates studio. You're not, and then teaching people at your Pilates studio. You see yourself wearing your outfit, your Lululemon. You see all of the reformers lined up. You see how big the building is. You see the color of the walls that are painted. You hear the music that is blasting. You have on your little headset. You have on your mic. You hear the moves coming out of your mouth. You hear the encouragement. You're seeing people. You're seeing the money hit your bank account. You're seeing people come back to you. You're seeing people say, that was such a good class. I love this class. I want to pay for a whole package. I want to do monthly packages. So then once you believe that and you meet at that frequency, you're going to get your Pilates certification and open up your own building and then start teaching your own classes. You won't need to have this like plan in your head where it's like, oh, I have to invest 3 years learning, all of this stuff at the class, or like once I get my certification, I have to do these classes and teach at someone else's studio for 3 years before I can do it myself. No, you don't. I'm telling you, no, you don't. If you can envision it, you're going to become that person. You're naturally going to become that person. I know it sounds weird. I know it probably sounds like, what the fuck? Like, how is that possible? But that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're at that frequency, you're just naturally going to move to become that person. You just have to trust in allow your subconscious to get programmed differently. You don't have to do all this craziness waiting to get what it is that you want, right? So how are you going to use quantum leaping? Well, I literally just gave you a beautiful example on how you're going to quantum leap essentially. So the first thing that you want to do is you want so here's the thing with manifestation, right? Manifestation and quantum leaping are different because manifestation, quantum leaping is a daily practice that you would use in order to manifest something. Because the thing about it is that quantum leaping is just cutting out the time that it would take. Manifestation, you don't really have to care a whole lot about time. Like if you say you want to be a millionaire, if you want to manifest being a millionaire, well, I mean, who's to say that you're not a millionaire the year before you pass away? You can manifest being a millionaire. That is a manifestation. I want to be a millionaire, right? Essentially. But you don't have to be so just writing something down. It's essentially training your subconscious, right? Because for a lot of people, most people's manifestations aren't going to work because most people don't believe that. Most people are locked in by their own subconscious programming. So I want to be a millionaire. Okay, what about I want to be a millionaire within a year? Which probably sounds crazy to most people because you're like, how am I going to be a millionaire in a year? Or how am I going to have $30,000 hit my bank account every month? How is this going to happen? Quantum leaping, it breaks down the steps. It breaks down everything down in steps. Manifestation is just one whole big thing. Quantum leaping occurs in steps. So essentially, when you are quantum leaping, you have to practice. Like, you literally have to practice being the person that you want to be every single day. Manifestation is just, I'm going to write it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to send it to the universe, and that's it. It's like a letter that you're sending to the universe when you're manifesting. Quantum leaping is an everyday practice, like every single day. You're dressing like the person that you want to be. You're talking like the person that you want to be. You look at money as if you are the person that you want to be already. You're making connections as if you're the person that you want to be already. Every single thing that you are doing, it is through a transformed version of yourself that you see in the future. Quantum leaping is an act of being. So instead of you saying, like, I want to be rich, you're like, I'm a woman who attracts money daily. I want to be chosen. I am a worthy, high value woman who is always pursued. And then you just enact that in your daily life. You become the leap when you're quantum leaping. Okay. That's the whole point. I've done this my whole life, and other people got everything I felt and embodied for myself. One woman is even living my whole ideal life Pinterest board. Another is a known scholar and writer. Did you tell anyone? Did you tell anyone what it is that you wanted to do? Because that's another thing too. Um, you have to be very careful if other people know what your plans are, because a lot of the time, when people are aware of your plans, she said, I've done this my whole life and other people got everything I felt and embodied for myself. One woman is even living my whole ideal life Pinterest board. Another is a known scholar and writer. No, I didn't. Well, this is what I think. This is what I think. It just may not be your time. Honestly, it just may not be your time, or the universe doesn't feel as though you're ready for the thing that you want. That's another thing too. You know, that might be another thing too. The universe usually is not going to give you anything that you want until it feels as though you are ready to have that thing. So you can want it. Like, you can want something very, very bad. You can want something very, very badly. But if your subconscious and your daily being is not convincing to the universe, it's not going to give you that thing. It's not going to give you that thing. It is only going to give you the thing that it feels that when it feels like you're ready to have that thing. This is how it's taken care of by your higher self. This conscious form cannot and does not have the capacity to plan for the how of the quantum leap in your physical. You just need to believe. Exactly. But I feel like that is very important. Um, that's the reason why with quantum leaping, the whole purpose, you are training yourself to become that person. That's why it's going to happen quicker. Wanting it is not enough. You wanting it is not enough. Your whole being has to be living through the person that you want to be on the other side of what your accomplishments be to be. You have to be that person already. That is how you crack the code to the quantum leap. Be that person. Think like that person. So the next thing that you have to do when it comes to quantum leaping, you have to let that old version of yourself die. So if you have a very poor relationship with money, you hoard money, you're afraid to invest money, you have a very, very, that means you have a very poor relationship with money. You're afraid to let money go, right? You have to let that old version of you die, right? If you want to, like, for instance, Tulip Hasky, I'm gonna just use you as an example, right? Um I don't know obviously what was on your Pinterest board, but like, okay, let's just say, scholar in like the writer, right? Okay, maybe subconsciously, if you subconsciously have an issue with being seen, if you have an issue with being noticed and you wanted to be a writer, you actually might be a better writer than this person, right? The universe probably knows that you're a better writer than this person. And the universe probably knows that when you become known as a writer, everyone's going to know you. You're going to be traveling globally. You're going to be going internationally. But you subconsciously, you may have a fear of being seen. Your programming might have you have a fear of being seen. So then the universe is going to be like, you have not broken down that programming yet, where you have a fear of being seen. You have a fear of really, really, really being known, because the universe has bigger plans for you. You can be a writer, but think of how many people that are writers and we don't know that they're a writer, right? We have no idea that they're a writer. You very well could become a writer and be world renowned. You could have back-to-back national, New York Times bestsellers. You could really, really, really be up there. You could be a writer where they'll take your book and make a movie adaptation. That means that you have to be a person that is okay with being visible. That means that you have to be okay as a person who wants to do interviews, who is okay with, having journalists talk to you and doing interviews and things like that. You have to be okay with that. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why with your skill set, you look at your skill set and say, okay, how come I don't have it and they have it? Because the universe has bigger plans for you. In most cases, the universe has something greater for you. So this is why it's very important to you, whatever it is that you want to quantum leap to, whatever version of yourself that you want to become and what it is that you want to achieve, you have to let the old parts of you die, because there is no way that you will be able to quantum leap, but you're still holding on to the current version of yourself. Because like I said before, the whole part of a quantum leap, the frequency has to match. The frequency has to match. If your frequency does not match the desired person that you want to be, you will not be able to quantum leap. It will not happen. Exactly. I think I've been quantum leaping and not realizing it. I chant, use daily visualizations, make weekly daily tasks, or speaking my desires. I meet my goals within hours, days, or weeks. Same here. I manifest things very quickly. I quantum leap very, very quickly. It's mine already. I have no distractions. There's no reason why I can't do it. There's no reason why I can't achieve it. There's nothing holding me back. There's no one holding me back. It's mine already. You know what I mean? And everything, and I'm prepared for everything that comes along with what it is that I want to quantum leap to. There is nothing holding me back. So, and that's another thing too. If you are a person and you have a lot of subconscious programming that you have to get conditioned from, you're going to feel like an imposter when you're trying to quantum leap. You know what I mean? Because you're like, how am I going to be a world renowned writer? You know what I mean? How am I going to be able to do this? Like what? Like how am I going to be a national bestseller? Da, da, da. You're going to feel like an imposter originally, because you don't see the vision, you don't see the plan, you don't see the ins and outs of how this is even going to, happen, right? And then another thing too, with quantum leaping, with quantum leaping, you have to realize too, a lot of things will actually fall apart. A lot of things will actually fall apart for you with quantum leaping, because once again, you have to trust the universe, okay? You can get anything you want. You cannot get everything you want. I'm going to say that again. You can get anything you want. You cannot get everything that you want. So on your road to getting the things that you want, you are going to have to deal with things that you do not want. You are going to have to tackle things that are not going to be comfortable for you to tackle. That's just a part of it, right? That's just a part of the road that you have to go down when you're having the quantum leap. This is why it's very important that you master the law of detachment. You know what I mean? Because you may be attached to your family in the quantum leaping. It may require you to relocate. It may require you to be far away from your friends. It may require you to be far away from your family. You know what I mean? So you have to be detached. You have to be detached to the things that you know and the version of yourself that you have come to know to be able to quantum leap, because in order for you to get the things that you don't have, you have to become a version of yourself that you currently do not know. That's the only way that it's going to happen. You have to become a new person. Because it's shedding, right? You're shedding your old vibration, you're shedding your own frequency, your old relationships, your coping mechanisms, your routines. It's kind of like a death and a rebirth, right? And then the most important step is that you have to act as if it's done. You cannot just dream about it. You cannot just wanting it. Wanting it is not enough. Like I said before, you want a certain number in your bank account. Every time you open up your bank account, you need to get your phone, open up your banking app, and pretend like instead of the money, the balance that you're seeing, you need to pretend that you're seeing $50,000 in your bank account, right? And sit and feel. How is it gonna feel opening up your bank account and seeing $50,000 in there? You're gonna be smiling. You're gonna start thinking, wow, I can pay off my home. I will be able to travel. I will be able to, pay for my parents, lifestyle. It's $50,000 a month you'll be making. $50,000 a month I'm making. And you're gonna be smiling and happy and feel all the good feelings and be like, I can quit my job. I can start pouring into my passions, and then start thinking about the passions that you're doing, the flights that you're taking, the home that you're living in, the freedom that you have. Start thinking about that and do it every single day and get the visceral feeling, have the feeling through your body of how is my life going to look? What am I going to be wearing? How am I going to be speaking? Who are my friends going to be? I mean, really get meticulous with this. I mean, really, really get specific with this. You know what I mean? You're playing a movie in your brain where you're the actor. You're the actor in the movie of you quantum leaping. When you do this every single day with all the actions that you're doing through your daily life, I swear to God, you're going to have things happen a lot quicker for you. Things are going to happen so much faster. I promise you. I promise you. So then here are some like techniques that you can use, okay? I already mentioned it before, but daily visualization, okay? Daily visualization of the future you, okay? I am currently doing a quantum leap visualization every morning. So before I pick up my phone, it's the first thing that I do, because when you're first waking up, you're still in the hypnagogic state. So that means that you're still kind of in your subconscious. You're in your subconscious. So this is a very powerful time to do this, because you're planting the seed in your subconscious, which then means that you'll start dreaming about this. And then it'll really come naturally for you to embody this person, this lifestyle, this being that you want to ultimately quantum leap to. So what you're going to do, first thing you wake up, you don't grab your phone, you don't do nothing. You're going to visualize the future you, okay? How does she feel? Okay, not just the physical, okay, not just what she's wearing, what house she's living in, what car is she driving. How is she feeling? Okay, is she happy? Is she confident? Is she smiling? And then I want you to embody that feeling, right? How does she, get specific. How does she eat? How does she walk? How does she have conversations with people? How does she cut people off? How does she show up for other people? How does she make her money? all of these little things I want you to think about during your visualization, okay? Another thing that you can do is you can do a time collapse journal. You can do a time collapse journal prompt. So essentially what you're going to do is you are going to write from the future. Okay? You're going to write to yourself in the future. So it's like that Meek Mill song when you say, I used to pray for times like this to rhyme like this, so I had to. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna be like, I remember when I used to struggle to make $500, but now I make $500,000 a year. You know, I wake up to PayPal dings. I wake up to Cash App dings. If you're focused on quantum leaping to gain more confidence, I walk in a room and command all attention. Everywhere I go, people want to know my name. Everywhere I go, people want my business card. Everywhere I go, people want to buy something from me. This is going to you're training your subconscious into imprinting a new timeline because you're closing in the gap. You're closing in the gap on the time that it would take for you to be able to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. You're already saying, huh, I'm there already. And I'm just looking back on how my life looks in the past. Like today's life is the past life. You're already making $500,000 a year. You're already confident. You already have a banging body. You already have your provider man, whatever it is that you are trying to quantum leap to, essentially. Okay. Yes, I do that too. As soon as I am conscious before I'm up, I start mumbling my intentions and envisioning my life. It has worked, by the way. Yeah. The first thing that you do in the morning, right upon waking, that needs to be your most powerful technique that you want to use, because training your subconscious is powerful. Okay. Every time you sleep and you dream, that is your subconscious. Okay. Your subconscious is your default frequency. Essentially, it's your default frequency. And then another thing that you can do is you can have rituals. I already have a video on here about glamour magic, right? Having a ritual for your embodiment. What does the woman smell like? How does she talk? What are her mannerisms, right? What type of car what type of car is she driving? If you want a house, get on Zillow. I want you to get on Zillow, and I want you every day, I want you to start looking at the house. Go find the house that you want on Zillow, and I want you to envision yourself walking into that house. The furniture, look up furniture. Place the furniture in the home. You sitting on the furniture, you watching TV. If you have a business, you have an office in your home. You have a nice laptop, you got a nice MacBook, a nice office, and you're envisioning yourself working in your office. So then what you can do is you can start to physically practice and plant these little seeds, right? If you see yourself wearing, like for instance, I always see my, future self, my self-actualized self. I'm always wearing heels. So every single weekend that I'm off, I walk out in heels all day. I wear heels all freaking day because I see myself wearing heels. Whenever I need to rent a car, I rent the vehicle that I want to drive regularly. I rent the luxury vehicle that I want to drive regularly. Even if you're flying, if you envision yourself being in first class, or maybe if you envision yourself at one of the lounges, you can get a little lounge pass. They let you buy like a one-time little lounge pass where you can be in the lounge without you having like an Amex card or anything like that. And envision yourself being there, and then do it. Even if it's not something that you do regularly, you go on ahead and do it when you have the opportunity to do it. You're practicing. I don't know if they do open houses regularly. I remember back in the day, they used to do open houses all the time. If they do open houses, if in an affluent area and you don't have to like really like do anything or talk to a realtor or anything like that, go to an open house. You know what I mean? Walk in the home, feel the home. I would this is reminiscent of a home that I would like to be in, or drive in a nice neighborhood, right? Drive in a nice neighborhood and look at the homes. Open houses with little snacks. When I was a little girl, I used to love going to open houses. I used to love going to open houses. And yes, I'm back. Open houses were my favorite. They would have like the best candy and the best snacks. And I used to roll on the carpet and everything. This was back when carpet was popular. Well, we didn't have all this hardwood and laminate and all that stuff they got going on now. I used to roll on them folks' carpet and everything. So yeah, embody what it is that you want, right? And then you also can do spell work, right? So you can create a little manifestation for yourself. I quantum leap into the most aligned, luxurious, protected version of myself now. I wrote it down. My past is not my pattern. I am already her. Everything else is catching up. Also, there is a really good content creator here on YouTube that you can follow. His name is hold on. I believe it's Brian Scott. Yes, Brian Scott. He actually has a quantum leaping activation video that you can watch. He uses fire breathing. Fire breathing is a very, very good method to harness energy. So fire breathing is quick breaths and it's belly breathing. So it looks crazy, but you do that for like 30 seconds and you can use that energy, and then you can do the visualization practice, go into the void space, do the visualization practice like I just told you about. Fire breathing is really, really good. It harnesses and activates a lot of energy. It conducts a lot of heat and thermal energy through that fire breathing. So that's also something that you can do as well before you do your visualization practice. But yeah, quantum leaping has really it's really bypassed a lot of things in my life. Like for instance with TikTok, I wanted to become a content creator, and I literally learned everything about content creator, and literally every day I would visualize me being a content creator, making money from creating content. And literally, I kid you not, I got monetized on TikTok within like a month. And then once I started actually especially making content on here for YouTube, I got monetized within a month. Not my very first video, but my video that like I kind of set with some intention before I made it. And it was the What Stripping Taught Me About Men. That's still my most viewed video on the other channel. That video has like over 200,000 views from it. I made $1,000 from that video. I made $1,000 from that fucking video. So, that just goes to show you that, I didn't have to be a content creator for, 10 years or 3 years or 5 years for me to really, really, start making money from this. You know what I'm saying? You can do it much quicker. You can do it much faster. You don't have to, do all of these things as long as you embody that person. And another thing too, so I would always practice talking in front of the camera. So what I would do is I'd have my personal Instagram, my personal Facebook. I've always been in front of the camera. I would practice. I would be like, this is for my friends, but I'm practicing when I have to do it in front of other people. So in my head, I was a content creator for my friends, right? In my head, I was a content creator for my Instagram friends on my story. So that's an example of quantum leaping. Look at how fast I really became a content creator and started getting paid money to do it. I did it quick. You know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show you how when you embody the person that you want to be, and you live out to become the person it is that you want to be, you will be able to get to your goals way quicker. Way, way, way quicker. I would go to open houses in affluent neighborhoods. They would ask me what I'm looking for. I'd say things like mid-century modern, quiet street, saltwater pool, mid seven-figure budget, manifest. Yeah, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You cannot be afraid to actually say what it is that you want, what you want to manifest, what it is you want to quantum leap to. That means you're not ready. If you have big goals and big dreams and they scare you, you have to train your subconscious more. You have to train your subconscious more. Don't question anything. Don't question anything. What do you mean I want to quantum leap to make $50,000 in a month? But how? How am I going to make $50,000 in a month? When you become that person will understand how to make $50,000 a month, right? That's how it happens. You won't understand, but it'll happen. It'll happen. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yes, girl. I quantum leaped my way right into content creating. I was like, I ain't finna go through all of this shit and do all of this stuff and not waste all of these years, but make things harder than it needs to be. In my head, I'm like, I'm already monetized. I'm already good with people. I have a good voice. I know how to talk to people. I speak what's on my mind. I'm going to be authentic to myself. People want to hear what I have to say. People admire my opinions. People love my voice. Sometimes we don't need to understand it. We need to feel it. And that's the most important thing. As long as you feel it, then you're good. You don't need to understand any of that. You don't need to understand the ifs, the hows, the whens, any of that. You do not need to know all of the little steps and all the little intricacies. It's yours and it's happening. And you are it. You are it. That's it. That's all. You are it already. $50,000 will find the person who believes they make $50,000 a month. Money is energy. Exactly. So you can do money manifestations. You can sleep to money subliminals. I'm learning more about how to do subliminals. I'm going to start by making my own subliminals. And then I want to make my own subliminals for myself because I get a little bit afraid to sleep to people's subliminals on here. I don't know what the fuck they're saying. They may be saying something crazy. So I'm going to make my own subliminals, and then I'll probably post them on here on the spiritual channel. I won't say nothing crazy in the subliminals. If you want to use them, great. If you don't want to use them, great. But it's probably best to make your own subliminals seriously, because you don't know what the fuck they could be saying, and your subconscious is powerful. So yeah, be careful with the subliminals. And if you can, just make your own. But yeah, that's all I have for today for the topic of quantum leaping. I hope you all enjoyed this concept for today. I hope you all enjoyed essentially what it is that I have to say about quantum leaping, quantum jumping, whatever it is. Pygmisha making subliminal. You like Dusty's now. You like Dusty's now. I think I've told the story before on my main channel. I've done it talked about it on my main channel, but maybe not here. Subliminals are real. Okay. I had a friend who she fell asleep. She was in a really abusive and a very toxic relationship with a man. And she told me that one time she was sleeping and she woke up and she caught him whispering in her ear, and he was really telling her, like, you'll do anything for me. You'll bow down to me. You'll obey me. You will let me conquer over you. You will let me rule over you. You will let me dominate over you. He was saying this shit while she was sleeping. He was saying that shit while she was sleeping. So subliminals are real. And guess what? She was cooking for him. She was obsessed with him. She was, She was just letting him abuse her happily. She was just letting him abuse her fucking happily. But that just goes to show you that subliminals are real. Okay, subliminals are real. And there are people that can act on your subconscious when you're sleeping to be able to control you, because the subconscious is a very very vulnerable state. What did she do after she left? Girl, no, she stayed for a little bit longer. And then once he pretty much almost took her life, she finally was like, okay, that was my warning sign. I need to go. So thankfully she moved. Thankfully she moved, and she doesn't talk to him at all. He's blocked and everything. But yeah. Oh my God, there was this woman. Her mother-in-law would come over her while she slept and whisper, and the camera caught her, and she was calling her ugly and programming her to lower her self-worth. See? So yeah, those subliminals, that's subliminals. Those are subliminals. That's why they're called subliminals, right? Subliminals are sneaky. Subliminals are something that you're not consciously aware of. It's hidden. Where the fuck would a man learn to do that stuff? Girl, psychology, hypnosis, therapy. I mean, the internet teaches all of this. The internet has all of this stuff available. I'm telling you, she told me she was cleaning for him and obsessed with him, and she couldn't get enough of him. And I mean, she was crazy about this man, and he was abusive as hell. The man was a monster. He was a straight up monster. She stayed even after she woke up to a wizard in your ear. That meant the subliminals work. Yes, that means they worked good as hell, because she stayed like some 6 odd months after that. I think maybe even longer. And she hadn't even told anyone else. And she was like, I feel like, you'll understand what was happening, so I'm going to tell you. And when she told me, I was like, girl, he is using subliminals to act on your subconscious. I can't even imagine a man having listen, the man was a criminal. Okay. The man was in jail. He was criminal, probably DL. I think I'm almost for certain he was DL. He probably learned a lot while being locked up. Psychology originally was the study of spirit. It was changed to the mind. The prefix psi means soul. Exactly. Psychology is some heavy shit. He learned that from the jail wizards waving their wands in his bussy. Is that kind of what men do when having sex with you and talking and telling you things? Yeah, that's like root work, essentially. That's pretty much root work. When they're acting on you, and doing spell work on you, when they're sleeping with you, yes. Yep, that's root work. There's all these different names. Okay, there's all these different names, like specifically during the act of how they're doing it, but it's all the same. At the end of the day, they're acting on your subconscious when you are in a energetic when you are in a state of energetic being heightened energetically. So like sex is a very high energy exchange. So it's very easy for men to do a lot of spell work when they're sleeping with you because of all of the energy that is being harnessed. That's why they say a date, if you go on a date with someone and you go on, like, you go to an amusement park and you go on a roller coaster, you're gonna have a stronger chance of bonding with that person if y'all's first date is at an amusement park, if y'all's first date is on roller coasters, because those are I have a video on it with Disney World. Those are places where they harvest energy, because that is the amusement parks where people are screaming, people are in a state of fear, people are nervous. Those are high energetic places. And so when you're sharing the same energy as another person, especially over fear, it will lock you in with the person. It's a trauma bond. That's the reason why trauma bonds are so effective. Trauma bonds are so effective because trauma energetically holds a lot of weight. Exactly. It's what happens with men at war, the military, police force. Yes, exactly. This is why dealing with men that do that shit is like a death sentence. It's like a death sentence. They've been all of those things, the military war, the police force, all that is psychological warfare. They have to fuck those men up psychologically to have them do those types of jobs. They literally have to alter their mindset and alter their psychology to be able to do those jobs, especially going to war in the military. They mind fuck those men to be able to kill people and have no issues with it. But okay, sorry, I went on a little tangent there near the end. Um, I'd love your take on spirituality and capitalism. Um, this is what I think. Um, the people that created capitalism, they know everything about the occult. You know what I mean? They know everything about the occult. So essentially, when they wanted to do capitalism, I feel like essentially, because you have to think, right? The CIA, there's a video that I came across that was talking about how I think it was the CIA or maybe it was the military. Um they would do studies on people. They've done studies on people with subconscious programming. They've done all types of studies on people with spirituality. And you can actually look some of these things up. They've actually declassified several of these things. Like astral projection. The CIA knows that people can fucking astral project. They know that. It's a declassified files. You can look up HemiSync. It's all there. Okay. The government and the CIA, they understand the occult. They understand it in and out. So what they did was they use what they know about the occult. They use conscious programming. They use conditional stimulus with colors, with sounds, with frequencies, with jingles, with television. They use all of these forms of subconscious programming to pretty much turn you into an NPC. They made up money, they've made up bartering, they've made up transactions, they've made up all of these things so that way we live in a physical world to make people rich, and they hide all of that stuff from you. That's why they call anything occult a CT. I don't want to say the word. I don't want YouTube to be weird, but the theory, right? The con theory. I'll just say that, the con theory. Anything with the occult, they're very quick to write it off as a con theory because they want you fearful of the truth. Because people that capitalize off of capitalism, they're able to do that because they know something that you don't. And so with spirituality, they just weaponized it. They just weaponized spirituality. Oh, wow, Anon. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Great show. Thank you. Thank you. Would you be able to do that, Queen? Do what? Oh my God, last night I went to sleep with a guided meditation because of trouble to sleep. It was great, and woke up to see it paused in the middle. It was from Lauren Ostrowski Fenton. Well, I'm glad that you were able to get some sleep. When Bush was running for president, he would put the sound of a house phone ringing so that the average American would think about him whenever their phone at home rang. Yes. I mean, literally, it's something that small. It literally is something that small. This is why like they create jingles. This is why they create like certain songs that are associated with, different companies and logos, branding. Branding, that's 100% taken from the spiritual book. Their jingles, spiritual, abracadabra and spellwork, yada yada yada. That's where they take their jingles from, right? Those are all just forms of spell work that they're doing. It's like their sigils, their symbols, their seals. They use all of this stuff. The colors, how they associate colors with certain things. Like for instance, like there's a siren. There's a siren that just went that I just heard. So even on a song, like don't get me started. Y'all ever been off the MJ, the plant? Y'all ever been off the MJ, the plant? And remember back in the day, I don't know if they did this in other places, but I know in Chicago we had 92.3. And they would have the little mixes, the little song mixes. And then for whatever reason, they thought it was a good idea to put a damn siren in the song. So you're off the MJ listening to the radio, and you're over here freaking out over the damn siren. It's the damn music. It's the damn DJ putting in the siren. You're like, what the fuck? Right. LOL, I remember Chicagoland here. Yes, I'm like, what the fuck? They used to do that all the time. They used to do it all the time on the radio stations in Chicago. I'm like, who the fuck thought to put a damn siren on the music during the DJ set? Why would you do that? That was me just now. Spooked you, didn't it? Probably like, what's going on? Oh, the Jamaican DJs, they'll have all types of gunshots and sirens, and they'll make you think, oh my God, the Jamaican DJs are terrible. Jamaican DJs will have you thinking the apocalypse is happening. I was in the car with my dad one time listening to a song with sirens in it. He was like, pull over. But that's conditional stimulus. That is conditional stimulus. They've conditioned you to hear a sound, and they've conditioned you to have a response to that sound, which is fear. Even with colors. There was a woman on TikTok. People are saying that she's in a psychosis, but I don't think that she's in a psychosis. I just think she is extremely conscious of what is happening. And she has like a camper, and her camper is on the other side of a blocked road. So she had recorded herself walking from where she's camping out at on the blocked road. And so she said, I'm on the other side of the blocked road, and all it is cars driving. It's cars driving on the blocked road. Like they're literally, she even showed it. It's like literally from street in to street in, the yellow large, little signs saying that the road is closed, which means that someone got out of their car, moved the sign over, so that way all of these cars would be able to drive. And then when she showed the cars, all of the cars were red. All of them were red. And some people thought she was crazy, but they call it like GS. I'm afraid to say the word because they I don't know why, but you're not allowed to say it on TikTok. They'll delete your page on TikTok if you say it. I'm trying to think. It rhymes with bang. Okay, so GS, it rhymes with bang. And the S stands for when someone is like watching you. Okay, watching you, peering you. That starts with an S. It rhymes with talking, bang, talking, but replace the G with the S. You can't even say that on TikTok. They've banned people. They've deleted people's pages for saying that. But that's what they were calling it, essentially GS. So there's like this belief that when people outside understand that you're at a higher level of consciousness, they will use a conditioning stimulus to try to get you back in order. And that's kind of what she felt like was happening, because she was alone on a blocked road and cars were on the blocked road. and they were on a blocked road, and all of the cars were red. And you already know what red means. Like, red means stop, red means caution. Red is for your lower chakra. Red goes with fear. Hold on, I should be able to type it. Yeah, Ang talking. GANGSTALKING. So just replace it's GS. I'm just going to say bang talking. Just replace the B with a G, and then replace the T with an S. You can't even say it on TikTok. So that just goes to show you that there must be something. There must be something going on with that. And it'll come up on Google. And yes, you can ask ChatGPT. Normally I would ask ChatGPT. Let me ask her now. I asked her if it's real, even though I know it's real. So yeah, they said it's real. Essentially like energetic targeting. Energetic targeting is like another way that you could think of it. When they know that like you're too smart, they know that you're too conscious, they know that you're too aware. And then when they give you a public platform, or you're using a public platform to state these things, they really want to target you. Oh, and something else happened too to that girl. She was walking in a white van. A white van kept coming to her campsite. And she's fearless. She was fearless. She put her phone up and everything. She was like, "Hi, how are you?" She talked to the guy behind the wheel and everything, and then the guy drove off. And she's like, "See?" She was like, "Now why would they have a white van come over here? Why would they have this white van?" She's like, "You already know what it means when you see a white van." And there were, like I said before, there were people, because the thing about it is that it can mimic, mental instability. But I don't think that woman is mentally unstable. Doesn't sound like it to me. Because I definitely have seen some, I've definitely seen some psychotic breaks in real life to know the difference. Like, I know there was one girl on TikTok. Hey, girl. Hey, from New Mexico. I know there was one woman, and I felt so bad for her because she actually was having like a psychotic like episode. And she was having it on TikTok, and I felt so bad for her. As soon as she started talking about I think it was something with like her family was trying to come over for like a mental wellness check because she quit talking to her family. And so she pretty much had made a TikTok talking about how she doesn't want to talk to her family. She doesn't trust her family. And she said there's like needles in her grapes or something. It was super weird. But she was like, they're putting needles in my grapes, and I don't trust them. And I was like, oh, I feel so bad that this is playing out, and like she's literally recording it playing out. Hopefully that young lady got the help that she needed, because I can definitely tell when someone is having psychosis. And it was very clear that she was. But that's another thing too. There's so much spiritual warfare going out there that, times are going to be trying. So make sure that you are saging your area, you're keeping your area clean, you're keeping your area anything that you have that is attached to any bad memories, anything that you have attached to any bad juju, um not just letting any old person come into your home. Make sure that you're doing Himalayan salt baths regularly. um Make sure you keep something like some obsidian or some black tourmaline on you. Just making sure that you are keeping your viral, sorry, I was reading that comment, keeping your self away from the spiritual viruses. Oh shit, which is scary. I'm alone with land. That's probably the only reason to marry, so parents, siblings can't commit you. Yeah, because who chow? I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, poor thing. And she really needed the help. What about the viral video of that lady on that plane? The police were trying to escort her off the plane. I feel sorry for her. Honestly, I don't think that that lady was having a psychotic break. I really don't think she was. I think that lady I think she ran into a reptilian person. That's what I think. I think she ran into a reptilian. That's what I think. Because the thing about it is that, like, so when someone is having a psychotic break, um I usually, like, I will always be able to tell that someone is having a psychotic break because they'll actually be in a controlled environment, and then they'll come up with like all of these crazy things that would make it absolutely like impossible for it to no longer be a controlled environment. Like, that woman is in her own house. She's not letting her family in, but yet she's saying that the family is putting needles in her grapes. Like, that physically does not make any sense. And I could just tell she had no reaction. Like, you'll be able to tell someone is having a psychotic break because they're not having an emotional reaction to the words that they're saying. Like, when she said that there were needles in her grapes, she was just like, there's needles in my grapes. That lady on the plane, you could tell she was having like a visceral reaction. Like, you could legitimately tell that she was really in fear of something. You could really, really tell that she was shaken up by something and she encountered something that she did not see before. Or probably put the land in the trust with the bank as executor and define where it goes if someone family try to commit you. Exactly. And they always love to do that with women. Like, why is like I just can't believe that Kanye West is like not in a conservatorship. Like, can't believe that this man is not in a conservatorship. That MFer is not real. She was so adamant that there was something or something on that plane that people on the plane felt it was true. Even the person filming her thought she was serious. Listen, if she wasn't being for real, she's a great actress. I got to tell you that. She's a great actress. She is a very, very good actress because um you have to think, the plane the plane is quite, like, a lot of the time, I just don't feel as though some place as a plane, okay, like, we're talking about a plane, I just don't see that it being an environment where someone in most cases, even if they're, having I just can't see that not being something, like, behind that because she was spooked. Kanye is highly knowledgeable of the occult. He's super knowledgeable of the occult. The thing about it is that there's so many theories. There's so many theories. Um, I think that Kanye probably is cloned. At least that's what I think because he is a lot taller. He's a lot taller than he normally is. So I think it's like Kanye and then clone Kanye. I do. I think it's like clone Kanye and then the real Kanye. I think they're fighting each other. Queen, has anyone tried to do spell work on you, like an ex or a friend? Um, Perhaps a friend might have tried, or perhaps a friend might have. Um, Maybe. I feel like this. I do so much. He is a Gemini. Kanye West is a Gemini, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost positive he's a Gemini. He is a Gemini. He is. He's a Gemini. Um, I Someone probably has done spell work on me, but honestly, I just keep my energy protected. I do cleanses, I do cord cuttings. I am gonna do a cord cutting. I am gonna do a cord cutting for someone. So we'll see. We'll see with the cord cut if there's any validity to what I believe. Or maybe there's some MK stuff going on. Project Gemini, probably. Probably. Love you too. He seemed like a Gemini to me, so that makes so much sense. I am a Cancer in Western, and I just found out I'm a Gemini in Vedic astrology. Yeah, he's fighting. He's fighting with himself. He's a clone of himself. He's trying to figure out what Kanye is gonna win. What Kanye version is going to win. Doesn't look like him though. Doesn't look like him. Yeah, he looks completely different. He looks completely different. I feel like they cloned Britney Spears too. I feel like they probably cloned her too. Teach us, please. I don't know how to call down spirits for spell work. I think a jealous family tried to do so, SMH. So I actually was thinking of doing a cord cutting next. The only issue is that there's no metaphysical store because I kind of wanted to do it this weekend. I don't think there's a metaphysical store. Oh, yes, there is. There's actually open. Let me see. A lot of them are open on Sundays, and a lot of them open before a lot of them close before I get off of work. Oh, okay. So I think what I'll do is I'll go to the metaphysical store Monday after work, and then Tuesday we'll do a cord cutting. However, I'm probably not going to live stream it. And the reason why I'm probably not going to live stream it is because I want to be able to talk about the cord. I want to be able to record the whole cord cutting ceremony so I can like voice over. I can voice over what it's symbolizing and how the cord is getting cut. Some people don't have the capacity to hold that much energy, global fame, so it literally eats them alive from the inside. Probably. Can you explain synchronicity? Yeah, I can. Synchronicity is really just a physical confirmation that you are in line with the universe, that you are in line with the frequency on what you want to generate. Um, I'm able to think of something and it'll happen. Like literally, I thought of someone on Thursday and the person messaged me. I thought of someone a few weeks ago and the person messaged me. I remember I was driving to pole dance class on Tuesday and I was seeing, no, Sunday. I was driving to pole class last Sunday and it was people running and there were people walking and there were people riding bikes. And I literally thought to myself, when is somebody going to start rollerblading? It's soon. And I kid you not, I drove this stretch for like a good 2 miles and I hadn't seen not a single person rollerblading. I literally asked myself, when am I going to start seeing a person rollerblading? Within 5 seconds, there was a couple rollerblading. So yeah, you're in alignment, you are in alignment with the universe, and essentially like your thoughts can be so strong that are in alignment with the universe where you will think something or think of someone and the person will reach out to you. The person will reach out to you. um you'll get confirmation very quickly on a situation. It's just you being in alignment and practicing, enhancing your frequency to be in alignment with the universe. Why would a candle blow up during a cord cutting ritual? Like the sage burned to the ground and the candle blew up for a guy I was dating. Girl, sounds as though you cut the cord on a person who wasn't too happy about it. Sounds as though you cut the cord on someone who was obviously angry and literally got all fired up over the fact that you cut the cord. I've noticed I've been attracted to a lot of Capricorns lately, and I'm also a Capricorn, so I found it kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, usually there's a reason behind why you're attracting the type of people that you're attracting. Like all I do is attract cancers. And cancers really do remind me to be like, more of like the mother, because Capricorns represent Saturn, they represent the father. What spiritual practice do you recommend for someone new trying to get in touch? So I'm assuming you don't want this person to get in touch with you. You could do a cord cutting. You could do a return to sender spell. Um, that's what I would do. Depending on how incessant it is, you'll kind of know the strength. Um, but you could do a cord cut. You could do a return to sender. Exactly. He was trying to bind you while you were trying to release him. Yup. Honestly, I don't even remember what Aquarius represent. Um, because honestly, I only know things personally really for my own personal life. I do think that Aquarius represents a lot of disorder, a lot of like break of tradition. Um, yeah. Yeah, exactly. To detach. Yeah, the Aquarius kind of do their own thing. Aquarius don't really care about tradition, so maybe to not be so rigid, not be so rigid in your thinking, not try to see things in one like set type of way. I don't think that he would be so angry because he gave me DL. Well, then maybe he was angry that you know that he's DL. Yeah, exactly. Aquariuses are free. So be free, loosen up, let loose, enjoy. Don't take life too serious. Oh yeah, I notice I always cut the Aquarius off. I'm a Capricorn. Yeah, girl, you like that structure. You like structure, you like order. You don't feel like dealing with Aquarius free spirit, unorderly, disorganized, non-traditional ways. Oh wow, there was a cord cutting for a woman whose husband had a mistress. She wanted to cut the cord of the husband and the mistress. The mistress and husband fought to stay together, let them be together. Yup. Yeah, the cord cutting will let you know everything you need to know about where you stand with the person and how codependent they are on you, how attached they are to you, or if you do it for someone else, um, how they're reacting to you wanting to cut the cord. Exactly. Um, doing spell work in order to get, a type of outcome, really it's no point in doing that. It's just easier for you to be able to just gain clarity through doing spell work. Just get clarity. Looks like I need to do a cord cutting. I've never done it before. So for all the people that want to do a cord cutting, very simple. You get 2 candles. You can get a black candle to represent the person that you wanna cut your cord from. You can get a white candle to represent yourself. You can get, like, thread or yarn or, like, hemp line or something like that, to tie your 2 wicks together. Um, you can write the person's name in the candle or their birthday in the candle. Maybe if you have something of theirs, like I don't know, like a strand of hair or a fingernail or something like that. Um, and then you would put your name on the candle or your birthday on the candle. And you just, you use like salt, you can use like salt to, like divide in between the lines. And then you can just like you usually can just use herbs that you have like in your kitchen. I mean, you don't have to go like crazy and like get all of these, crazy different herbs and things like that. Um but you can kind of mix anything that is like protective or banishing, okay? Any herb that's good that is representative of that. You can add that in with the salt. And so then essentially what you'll put your 2 wicks on each end, tie the wick with a cord, burn both of the candles, and then observe what is happening with the candle. You know, is someone's candle burning stronger? Is someone's candle combusting? Who's cutting the cord first? Is the cord cutting? I mean, there's some cord cuttings. I saw one on TikTok. The cord never got cut. The cord never got cut. Both candles burned down, the cord did not cut. So that means that at that point, the person doing the cord cutting ceremony, they're gonna have to do something stronger. My cord cutting candle shattered when I kicked it over. Could I just put it on a plate or something? Well, you want to make sure that you use like a taper candle. Um, don't use a candle that's like covered in like any glass. Like you want to use like an actual like candlestick candle. You don't want to use anything covered in glass because what you also can do is like you want it to like melt down and out on like a surface, like a baking sheet or parchment paper or something like that. So like make sure that you get like a taper candle to practice with for your cord cutting. But I feel as though I mean if the candle shattered, she said my cord cutting candle shattered when I kicked it over. Could I just put it on a plate or something? I mean, if it broke all the glass out, you don't want it to be covered in any glass. You want a nice like regular taper candle. How do you discard after the cord cutting? Child, thankfully I have an outside like receptacle or whatever. Child, I put it in the outside receptacle. I put it far away from me. I put all of that anything for banishing, I put it far, far away from me. I get it out the house. And it's just candle wax and on parchment paper. You can do it to discard of it. Just put it in a baggie and like put it outside. Put it outside or go somewhere, go to a gas station, dump it off somewhere. I don't anything banishing, I don't want it anywhere near me. I don't want it anywhere near me. Hey, Queen, sorry I phrased my words wrong earlier. I am new to spirituality and want to know what spiritual practice I should start with as a newbie because I want to cut a soulmate tie. Um, I mean, simple spells are like return to sender spells, right? So like you can like send a letter and say like I remove so and so's energy from me. I remove their presence from my mind. Essentially like writing a note, to them to say like I'm removing your energy from me. And then obviously, like, add the physical stuff too. So, like, block them, don't talk to them, cut them off, don't deal with them. What if I don't have parchment paper? I have a cauldron. Um, you can do it on the thing about parchment paper, it just makes it easier to clean. Um, it just makes it a lot easier to clean once the candles are like melted down. So like essentially what you want to do, like you can do it on a plate. I would suggest doing it on a baking sheet. Okay. I would suggest just doing it on a baking sheet. Um Burn the bottom of the two wicks. Like burn one bottom and then stick it down while it's hot so it will stay, and then do the other one for another one on a baking sheet. It's just you don't want to mess up. It's just I suggest you get like parchment paper or something, or at least something that you don't care a whole lot about. So that way it'll be easier for you to get the wax off. Or go to the Dollar Tree and get those little aluminum pans, the ones that you like bake cakes in. You could do that for the cord cutting ceremony too. That way you don't have to clean anything. You just burn the bottom of your candles, stick them down, do your salt and, any other herbs that you want to use. If you summon, you must know how to banish. Newbies need to learn protection and banishing. Take it slow. Don't rush to call spirits. You don't want any spiritual or karmic debts. Yes, anything with protection, banishing, and divination. Um, those are pretty much all of the things that you want to do before you get like crazy into spell work. Um, that's the reason why I usually just do things based off of like, you know intention, but also no matter what, I mean, no matter what level you're at, you're always going to have to do some type of protection and banishing. um Sorry, I'm eavesdropping. But anyway, yeah, you just want to make sure, you want to make sure that you're good with the sky daddies, the sky daddy, the universe daddies, the spirit daddies and mommies. But yeah, once you're I love this one creator on TikTok because she's like, do witchcraft. That's like her mantra. Do witchcraft. And she'll like, if if you want to attach to something, do a binding spell. When you want to cut off someone, do a banishing spell. She's like, do witchcraft. The Witch of Wanderlust. The Witch of Wanderlust is a good channel for newbies. Oh, nice. I have to check out that channel. LMAO, that's going to frighten the Christians. They're going to be like, oh my God, demonic demons, demons. She just says it so casually, too. She's like, do witchcraft. Do witchcraft. Did I ever tell you guys the time about how this guy came over my house and we hold on, I don't want YouTube to we did the vegetable. We did that vegetable that starts with it grows, it's fungus. It's the fungus vegetable. It's the fungus vegetable that makes you see like hallucinogens or whatever. He came over and we did that. He brought some. He had the worst trip of his life because his ex-girlfriend talked to him and he had been cheating. And he was freaking out because she told him that she had told him that she was a witch. And he had a horrible trip at my place. He was like, "What if she puts a spell on me? What if she puts a hex on me?" He was freaking the fuck out. And I was like, and guess what I did, y'all? I messaged her. I messaged her. Actually, no, she messaged me because I didn't know what the fuck to do because he wouldn't stop bringing her up. And she actually didn't live that far away from me. And so we were friends on Snapchat. And like Snapchat will send a notification to someone if you're typing, even if you don't send anything. So I was typing and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I don't really know what to say. I'm like, he keeps talking about her. I want this man out of my house. Maybe he can go over there, her. So then I was like typing and I wasn't sending anything. So then she messaged me and she was like, "What's going on?" And I said, "Girl, your man is over here and he's over here freaking the fuck out." And she was like, "Not my problem. Not my problem." And so once he came down a little bit, I'm like, "Listen, I messaged her because we were all friends. I'm like, listen, I messaged her, but you gotta get the fuck out of my place. Like, you gotta get the fuck." He's like, "You messaged her. You messaged her." He was so pissed. And I was smiling and everything. He's like, "Look at you smiling. Look at you smiling over there." It was too funny. It was too funny. He was mad. He was mad. Well, that's why he should have treated her properly. How are you gonna loaf around a witch, treat her bad? Excuse me. Exactly. I was cracking up inside. He was so mad. He's like, "You seem happy. You seem happy about all of this." He's like, "Is that why you messaged her?" I'm like, "Get the fuck out." I was cussing at him and everything. I was like, "Get the fuck out." I would have started to play Nina Simone while he was tripping. I put a spell on you. Girl, and the thing about it, I was watching Girlfriends. Okay, I was having a good old time. I was having a good old time in my living room watching Girlfriends, seeing all the things, and he was completely ruining it. Y'all, I locked him in my bedroom. I was like, "Stay the fuck in my bedroom and don't come out. You're annoying me." I'm like, "You're having this horrible trip and I'm having the best trip ever." I was like, stay the fuck in my room." Queen, you should have your own reality show. Girl, they would kick me off of TV. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that bad. But my life, y'all, my life really should be a reality TV show. I am so obsessed with my nails. Like, we have to get into these nails again, y'all. We have to get into these nails again. Like, y'all, these nails are everything. Like, baddie activated. Baddie activated. Black witches would be interesting. Indeed. Trying to vibe while he's having an existential crisis. And I didn't give a fuck. He must have thought I was gonna feel bad. I didn't feel bad at all. I did not feel bad at all. I was like, shut the fuck up. I was cussing him out and everything. Thank you. I like the length. This is the perfect length. I let them grow out a little bit longer from the last time that I got my nails done. Because they were just a little bit too short. They were a little bit too short for my liking. Um, and so I was like, no, have them be a little bit longer. So yeah. So yeah, I gave her the picture and then boom. Boom, boom, boom. She did them. She did them exactly how I wanted them done. And then she added a little flower. She added a little flower to each one. Oh, he for sure was trying to manipulate me. So before we did I think while we were doing the fungus, I'm just gonna call it the fungus. When we were doing the fungus, he wanted me to sit on his lap, and I'm like, ew, no. Like, I'm not gonna sit on your fucking lap. Like, ew, no, 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 no. He's like, you're not gonna sit on my lap, and I was like, no, you didn't come over here to ask for me to sit on your lap. Our agreement was that you were going to bring the fungus and we were going to have fun with the fungus. You didn't say anything about lap sitting, sir. So give me the fungus plant so I can take it so I can have a good time. He was pissed. But he got over it. He did. He got over it. He actually had offered to pick me up from the airport because that happened right before I was leaving Chicago. It happened right before I was leaving Chicago and I was getting ready to go to Arizona. And I was like, this is going to be the last memory. This is going to be the last memory that I have in my apartment. And it's going to be with this fucking man. He's like, I can pick you up because I was actually going to go to New Mexico. And then I changed my mind. And when I thought I was going to go to New Mexico, I was going to drive my car from Arizona to New Mexico, where I was going to be living. I was going to fly back to the city and then hang out there. So he had offered to pick me up from the airport. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm fine. I'm fine. And then I ended up being in the Midwest again for work. But yeah, he was so stupid. He was so stupid. He used to be super cute in high school. He's Greek. Has these beautiful eyes, beautiful eyes. He has like those green hazel eyes and he has like very full lips, curly hair, gorgeous. Gorgeous man. Yeah, very very gorgeous, but yeah, I was like, no. He gained some weight. He gained a little bit of weight. He got that grown man weight, but he looked better in high school. Oh, and the thing about it was that the whole witch situation, so he didn't tell me that after the fact. He just was freaking out. He was just freaking out and he just was mentioning his ex-girlfriend. He didn't tell me that night that his girlfriend was like a witch or whatever. It wasn't until we like spoke about it after the fact, and then that's when he was like, oh, yeah, he's like, "The reason why I was freaking out was because she told me that she was a witch." And I was like, "Well," but because I knew he cheated on her, I already was on that type of time with him anyway. I'm like, "Well," I was gonna be in Albuquerque. In Albuquerque, I heard is dangerous. So I was actually happy that I changed my mind and was like, "Hell no, I'm not going there." And listen to this, y'all. My roommate My roommate was gonna be a man. He was gonna be younger. He was gonna be a little bit younger than me, and he liked me. He liked me. He was like, "I'll buy your groceries for the place. He was like, "I'll pick you up from the airport." He offered to pick me up from the airport too. He's like, "I'll pick you up from the airport. Um, I'll buy your groceries. I'll buy whatever groceries you need." I'm like, "Chow, I can't. No. Tell the job I changed my mind." Because I for whatever reason I couldn't find any fucking housing. Exactly. I was like, I cannot find any housing. I'm like, bro, I'm good. I didn't sleep with him or anything. I didn't sleep with him or anything. I never talked to that man again. But me and her are cool. Um, Me and his ex-girlfriend, we're cool. We exchange all type of witchy information. I know his ex-girlfriend personally. That's why I messaged her. That's why I had his ass even more spooked. Us witches gotta stick together. Like one time on I don't use Snapchat anymore, but like one time she was showing me how like she was spraying like fragrance and some witch concoction on this man's pillows that she had sex with. So that way the man could be more obsessed with her and want to keep dealing with her. Are you born a witch or made into one? How do we know if we are? I feel like all women are born witches. All women are born witches. It's just society beats the witch out of you. Did you ask her if she did something to him to make him have a bad trip? Girl, no. That was just his subconscious because he cheated. He cheated. So the mushroom was just acting on his subconscious of him being a cheater. Yeah, all women are witches. Naturally, all women are witches. It's already in you. It's just been beaten out of you, brainwashed out of you. So you have to just regain it back, and just, you know, learn how to tap into your witchiness. Exactly. They just demonized it. Oh no, that's a pick me spray. Not necessarily. Um, I think it's more so, excuse me. So I've never went that far. Um, I've never went that far when it comes to like obsession or binding spells or anything like that. Um, I think for me, I think for me, it is more so of like, yes, like a domination spray. It's more of like an ego thing. It's more of like an ego thing. So like I will wear like certain adornments or I will wear like a certain fragrance when I deal with a particular man. That way, it's a form of binding because he understands that like when he deals with me, the way I smell, he's probably only going to smell that smell when he deals with me. Um and I use subliminals, but I use like more so touch subliminals, like when they're sleeping. Um, there's like little things that I do to like play on their subconscious so that way like they have a harder time like I don't know, like a succubus pretty much. A man is an incubus, a woman is a succubus, pretty much a succubus. So they can always think of me with their girlfriends, with their wives. I will always be someone that they think of. And it makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel powerful knowing that like you have enough power over another person where like for instance, like the one person I was thinking of, yeah, it's the guy. It's like a guy that I sleep with, but I don't text him. We don't talk regularly. If we're talking, it's because he's texting me. So literally it was a couple weeks ago, and I was like, universe, I didn't do any crazy spell work because my thing is this, like, this is how I feel about with spell work. When you're like very when your frequency is vibrating very high, where you're like this with the universe, and like you just know, you just pay attention and you know that like the universe can hear you, the synchronicities are there, y'all are BFFs. um all you have to do is just talk to the universe and it will give you the confirmation immediately. So I kid you not, a couple weeks ago, it was like 7 o'clock at night. And I said, universe, um, I want to be a succubus to this man that I only sleep with whenever I'm in town. Okay. I only sleep with him when I'm in town. So he doesn't have regular access to me, which also helps a lot. Because he doesn't know when he's gonna see me, he doesn't know when he's gonna sleep with me, he doesn't know any of that. It's on my time if I want to do it when I decide. And so I was like, universe, I want to be a succubus to this man, and I want him to remind me that he's thinking of me. That's all I did. I didn't write anything down. I didn't do any physical work. That I said that at 7 o'clock. I went to sleep. I went to sleep early that day. I went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. I checked my phone. Why did I wake up to a text that he sent at like 8:30? And we had not talked. Mind you, we don't talk regularly. We had not talked probably in like 3 or 4 weeks. We had not talked in 3 to 4 weeks. And all I did was tell the universe, I want to be a succubus. I want him to think about me. And I want to know that he's thinking about me. And then boom, he texted me. LOL, give us a spell to do without items for our booze. All you have to do is write something down. Really, it's not about what items you use for spell work, okay? Too many people get caught up into the items. The items aren't that important. The items are just a the items are just little things to just kind of like have a physical representation of what it is that you are doing. Now I don't do any obsession spells or anything like that. I don't do anything crazy. Um but another thing too is that like you have to understand how to like harness your power, because you need to know the energy that you're working with and the person that you're working with, because you don't want to attach yourself to somebody and they become obsessed or they become crazy. But when it comes to like having all those items, you don't need them. You just need a really strong intention. All you need is your mind. Do you have any spell for a guy who violated you? Um, you could do like a reversal candle. You can get a reversal candle. Um, so that way, you know, any of that negative energy, like a black and red reversal candle, you can get that negative energy absorbed by them and have that bad juju be given back to them. I feel like this, whenever you do like spells, when people have like crossed your boundaries, um, or violated you, I just like to give the energy back to them. I don't like to like actually go out of my way to like hex or intend something bad for them to happen. I just give them the energy that they gave me. Exactly. Maybe a return to sender spell. I feel as though return to sender spells are the I feel as though those are the safest. Um Anything, because the thing about it is that when you're talking about revenge, you don't know what type of energy is attached to that person. Like, you don't know what type of entity is attached to that person. They may have an entity attached to them that will kill you. You know what I mean? Um, you don't know how that spiritual entity that's attached to them will respond, or how they will respond when you fuck with them. So, I just like to give the energy back to them, or cover yourself. Um, there's multiple ways you can do this. Like Davina said, you can alchemize the energy and use that to create something. You can protect yourself, so you can remove their energy from you, with salt baths, with certain types of crystals, certain types of healing, or you could do a return to sender. There's multiple ways, but what I'll never suggest is for someone to like go as far as like revenge, um because you don't know how that is going to result for you, because you don't know that energy. Damn, y'all, I didn't think it was just your mind. They need to stop teaching false teachings for real. Yeah, your mind is powerful. Drake literally said it. Drake literally said it, and yeah, I'm both. And he said the power of the mind is not a joke. And I said that I would do it, and I did. Used to get leftovers at the fridge. Nobody was famous where I lived. Like, that's what he's talking about. He's literally talking about your power, the power in your mind, what you're thinking in your mind. The power of the mind is not a joke. It's very powerful. I did a return to sender on a man who SH'd me at work. His girlfriend broke up with him and moved out and took her daughter. Then he found a job somewhere else right after. See? Beautiful. Exactly. Give that energy back to them, and everything will work out. Everything will work out. As long as they have that energy back with them and it ain't on you, that's the most important thing. The most important thing is just to get that negative energy off of you. Change it, return it, remove yourself of it. My ex used to play that song all the time. Yeah, and they still get shit done. Don't do Yeah, revenge is low vibrational, like Bell said. Yes, read the Kabbalion about the universal laws. Mentalism is everything. Yes. I think it's like, I know it's you don't want no problem, want no problems with me. I can't remember the actual name. You know us black people, we never know the name of a song. We never know the name of the song. We just know the chorus. Once you purge the energy, there's nothing to alchemize. Alchemy means that energy lead must still be there. If you purge it, you'll free yourself up to work on larger things, in my opinion. Honestly, that's why I give options. You know what I mean? Everyone's different. If you are a creative, you actually might be better off transmuting the energy. You know what I mean? Singers do it. Singers do it all the time. You know, we already know Adele. When Adele has a heartbreak, baby, she's running to the studio. Y'all, so do you think by me thinking about it constantly cause a death of a family member after a psychic told me that person was transitioning and months later they left? You didn't cause a death. You just were able to see into the you were just able to foresee what was happening, what was already going to happen. Oh, I thought you were talking about the song that Davina had said, not my song. But yeah, that's just your intuition. That's just your intuition. Like for instance, like I didn't know that my dog was going to die specifically a month ago. I just knew that someone in the home was going to die, right? Because there's four people. Well, there's two people and three animals that live in the family home of my mom. And so I knew someone in the home was going to die. Um, I don't normally I do go home and like visit them before I leave, but honestly, like I really did not feel like it, especially because I had already seen my mom and I already had seen my grandma while I was home. But something told me before I had left to come to Florida, I was like, make sure that you stop home because you're this is probably going to be the last time that you see someone that is living in the home. And then a week later my dog died. I create so I transmute everything. Yes. I don't even waste my time going back and forth. Like, thanks for the energy and letting me create with it. I feel that. I met a celebrity before he passed away and I could feel the death energy around him. I was shocked when he did pass and kept that tidbit to myself. Well, until now, you can definitely feel it. Yeah, like my mom knew that our dog was going to die. She had told me the whole story. She told dog. She was like, "Get some rest. Get some rest." Because my mom said that she could feel like our dog was like trying to hold on. He was like concerned for my mom and didn't know how my mom was gonna like handle it. And my mom was like, "It's okay. Get some rest." And then he went to the kitchen and he went to sleep. And then he went to sleep. He really went to sleep. Oh my God. I said I was going to get off an hour ago, and here I am still here. I know, right? Oh, he was so adorable. He was a cocker spaniel. He lived long enough. He lived to be 14, I want to say. He lived to be 14. Such a cute dog. This was when we first got him. Like, look at him. He was so adorable. Little cocker spaniel. But yeah, my mom knew that he was leaving us. She said, "Relax, get some rest. You don't have to worry about us." I felt death energy at a modeling gig I did. I couldn't tell for the entire weekend leading up to the gig. I felt like death was stalking someone I knew. Then Rihanna's cousins, who was in charge. Wow. Who was in charge of I went to Pop Smoke concert in NYC the day before he passed. He didn't show up either and flew to Cali. Damn, that's crazy. That is crazy. My dog really was the cutest. He was the cutest. Oh, it's no worries. Thank you. Auditions died via S side. I was talking to him up to the day OG, the auditions, and he passed off that night. She came for the funeral and everything. I felt so guilty because if only I was sharper. Um, what do you guys feel about what do you guys feel about celebrities sacrificing their families. I'm not saying that that's what happened, okay? It's just a theory. It's just a theory. Um, but do you all think that like people, especially in the music industry, do you all like believe that they have to like sacrifice like their knowing or their family, um, or their persona to be able to like, I don't know, buy into the music industry or even leave the music industry? Do you believe animals can be your spirit guides? Heck yeah. Heck yeah, I can. I can. Well, I do feel as though for some like people, like it's a theory in the same way Bussynomics is. Wink, wink. Exactly. Yeah, I usually always will get some type of feeling that like someone is going to pass on. But I don't know. In the music industry, in when it comes to fame, I feel as though yeah, I feel as though it's a part of I feel like it's very ritualistic. Um Maybe there are a lot of us here, Queen. Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, like Kanye's mom, um, like Megan the Stallion's mom and her grandma, um, Nicki Minaj. I think it was like her brother. Um, who else? I don't think Doja Cat sacrificed like a family. I think she sacrificed like her persona. That's why she was like doing all that like demon stuff. Yeah, Jennifer Hudson. Yeah, the Travis Scott concert when all of those people were like dying. And they said that it was like international. Like Kanye West had a ton of money. Had a ton of money. Like why would she need to go international? Why would she need to go international for surgery? Yeah, I think they're a contract. That's what I think. I think it's a contract. That's what I think. And yeah, I knew Doja Cat was Jewish. That's the reason why I feel as though her sacrifice was like through her imagery, you know, like her shaving her head and her like shaving off her eyebrows and doing all those things. Did you watch that concert? It was like super interesting. The one that I was talking about, Azealia Banks tried to sacrifice animals as a replacement, but it didn't work all that well. Um, there's an episode on Unsolved Mysteries. There was an episode. Um, I watched it and Travis Scott was like saying all type of crazy stuff and he was saying all types of crazy stuff. Um, what was I even saying? I completely forgot. Oh, there was an episode on Unsolved Mysteries and cattle ranchers cattle ranchers across the West Coast, so like in Arizona, New Mexico, California, all within the West Coast, cattle ranchers were coming out to like one or maybe two cows. The tongue was cut out of the cow and it was like a perfect incision. It was like a perfect incision in these cows. And it was happening at numerous cattle ranching farms. At numerous cattle ranching farms. It was crazy. You have to look at the episode. That has to be some like outer space, like ritualistic things going on for that to happen. Because normally, um, outside cultures like to sacrifice animals. Like entities that we aren't really familiar with, they usually like to sacrifice animals because they can't really get in touch. I feel like anything with animal sacrifice is always going to be something that is not in contact with humans. Hopefully that makes sense. And yes, that listen, it makes sense to me. Supposedly, allegedly, because I ain't trying to get sued. Allegedly, Aaliyah rejected Jay-Z, and we all know Aaliyah dated Dame Dash. So Jay-Z had orchestrated allegedly with Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a defective plane, and she didn't want to get on the plane, and they gave her sleeping pills to get her on the plane, that of which crashed, to be able to allegedly have it be revenge for Jay-Z, in addition to allow Beyonce to have her career. Yeah, I mean, the perfect incisions, like literally they were saying that the incisions were so perfect that they don't even believe that like a surgeon, like they don't even believe that like a skilled surgeon would be able to make those incisions, especially in an animal. Like it has to be something outside of us that's doing that shit. Like there's no way that it's humans doing that. Yeah, because I don't think these celebrities even know, or they even get to decide, or anything like that. And there really was no need for a music video like that to be filmed in the Bahamas. Like, they could have filmed that in fucking Florida. There was no need for them to go to the Bahamas for that video. Yeah, I forgot how young I was. I know I was in the single digits, and that death, it felt weird. Her death felt weird, and then Left Eye's death felt weird too. You know, it's so easy to do magic because it's easy to sink to the lower realms of consciousness. It's hard to do light magic because you have to maintain a high frequency. It's hard as fuck to do light magic because you're surrounded by dark. You're surrounded by dark. So it's very, very hard to it's very, very hard to, you know, guide through the light to be able to practice light magic when you're surrounded by the dark. Yeah, that's what I thought. They had it filmed at Florida, and then they made the split decision to have it be filmed in the Bahamas. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you're essentially getting the same fucking water. You're getting the same water, you're getting the same beach, you're getting the same boat. Yep, exactly. Yeah, and then that sucks too because Left Eye she had a whole premonition of her death. She had a whole premonition of her death when that little boy died. When that boy died that she ran over, and he had the last name as her. He had the same last name, Lopez, that she had, and she hit him. I think she hit him driving, or they hit him driving, and then she got killed in a car crash, in a car accident. She had a whole premonition of her own death. Yeah, I feel like they took her out. They took her out. Corey Holcomb actually said something. Corey Holcomb had actually said something that made sense. He was talking about the music industry, and he was talking about how he feels as though they took out like Whitney Houston, they took out Prince, they took out Michael Jackson, and he was talking about Mariah Carey. And he was like, Mariah Carey, watch out, like be careful. He said he was shocked that Mariah Carey is still here. But honestly, they did so much work on Mariah Carey. I love Mariah Carey because Mariah Carey is resilient as fuck. Like, Mariah Carey is so resilient. They can't take Mariah Carey out. It would be too obvious that they took her out. They can't take Mariah Carey out. It would be way too obvious. It would be way too obvious that they wanted to take her out if they did. There's just too much evidence of them going after her. Too much evidence of Tommy Mottola going after her for her to be a good target. Imagine making a blood sacrifice for fame. You'd be shocked. Yep, Mariah alchemized and became the goddess of Christmas. That's why I love her. That's why I love her. She was like, fuck you. She was like, I don't care what you do. You can't take me down, bitch. Like, she overcame everything. She was going to be in a conservatorship. Tommy Mottola stopped at nothing to like fuck up her career. He used Jennifer Lopez as a plant. They were on Mariah Carey heavy. They were stopping at nothing to take Mariah Carey down. They pulled out all the stops. Yep, she's a high priestess like Nikki. Yep. Yeah, she's booked and busy. She'll be booked and busy for Christmas for the rest of her life. I saw her Christmas concert this past Christmas. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And I'm going to go see it again this year for Christmas. It was wonderful. Yeah, Mariah Carey's super picky. She had to cut off her own family because her own family was going to try to Britney Spears her. Her family was literally going to try to Britney Spears her and put her in a conservatorship. Conservatorship. Apparently, she makes $3 million in royalties every single year for the month of December, and I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, Mariah Carey has incredible, her and Nicki Minaj. That's the reason why I feel as though they didn't get along. When they were the judge on, was it American Idol? Was it The Voice? They got so many goddamn shows. But remember, her and Nicki Minaj did not get along. They did not get along at all. Right, me too. I keep that song on repeat during Christmas. It's so good. But yeah, her and Nikki was not getting along. You can't have two queens. Can't have two queens at the panel like that. Imagine leaving Mariah Carey to go become a baby daddy to like 6 different kids. Like that's crazy. Like, that is crazy. He'd rather be a baby daddy to multiple women than to be the husband of Mariah Carey. That's how big his ego was. I think that Nick and Mariah beef was staged. That's what I heard from the blogs and the magazines after a while, but I don't know. They said it would drive up the ratings. It makes sense. Nikki just got to get rid of her Dusty like Mariah got rid of her Dusty. I swear. I wish Nikki would get rid of that dude. I wish she would get rid of that dude. And the thing about it is that I know why she's with him. I know why she's with him. I know where her logic is coming from. I know where her logic is coming from. Even though I don't agree with her, with who her husband is as a person, with what he's done in the past, with what his record has, 11 kids, that's crazy. With his record, can he even leave the state? Like, he's a child, he's a CSA. Can he even leave the state? I don't even think he can leave the state. He can't go with her on tour or do anything with her. I don't think he can. I don't think he can do anything with her for real. When she was like really active, I don't think he could like join her to do anything. So Nikki probably just figured I could do what I would. I could do as I please. You stuck here. You stuck here. And honestly, Nikki's probably self-medicating just to have to be with him now because, she's not like really as active anymore. Yeah, I don't think he can leave the States or do anything. So, and then in all the pictures, like the pictures that she takes with this dude crack me up because she's the dominant one in every single picture. Like, she's in front of him on every single picture, she's sitting on him in every single picture. She'll be standing and he'll be sitting in every picture. Like, it's laughable. It's laughable. Because you can tell that that's the reason why she's with him. Because I bet you every time Nikki be like, you fuck up and I'm calling the police. You fuck up and I'm having your ass put back in jail. I already know she's saying that shit. She's weaponizing the fuck out of his past. She's weaponizing the fuck out of his past. She's like, fuck up one good time and watch how fast I'll have your ass behind bars. She is running that man. She is calling all the shots. All Nikki does is come here and go back to the US. I don't know why we allow him here either. I know that's exactly how their relationship is. He can't say shit. He can't do shit. That's why she married him. Exactly. That's why she married him. She's like, shut the fuck up and do what I tell you to do and shut up. So that's why I'm like, a part of me, I kind of get it. I kind of see Nikki is an abstract thinker. I bet you that's what I bet you that's how Nikki has it in her head. I bet you that's how Nikki has it in her head because she's an abstract thinker. She's not thinking like everybody else, like, oh, his past, and she's like, hell no. She's like, I'm with someone I can instill fear in, and he has fear behind his past and fear behind me. Oh, he ain't gonna do shit. He ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, she's running him. Point blank period. There's no way around it. Nikki is running the ship. Cause she probably didn't want to have to I think I think Nikki's mindset was after dealing with Safari, you know, her being the product and Safari kind of being in the back, but also kind of helping her. I think Nikki didn't want to be with anyone who would be able to, take a little bit of credit for what it is that she's doing. I think she just was like, nope, I want somebody that I ain't gotta you didn't help do any of this. You didn't help me with any of this. So you can't sit here and throw anything back at me. Remember how she used to bark at Safari? Of course she's cussing the man out. Yup. She cussing his ass out. I'm telling y'all, she threatening that man with the police every chance she get. She threatening that man with the police every chance she get. The police is his leash. Nikki ain't even got to put that man on a leash. The police is his leash. The money I would pay to be a fly on the wall in their house. Now that you mention it, I could totally see their relationship being like this. I'm telling you, that's exactly what their relationship is. She is running that man. She is running that man and making all types of threats with his livelihood. Mr. Petty looks like a boy I hate. It's funny because you could tell that he's not hard. You could tell he's soft as hell. You could tell Mr. Petty is tender. You could tell. Yeah, when she cussed Joe Budden out, when she cussed him out, I was like, "Oh yeah." She had Joe Budden scared. She said, "Cut the fucking mic." And you hear click. You hear the mic get cut. Exactly. Get the ankle monitor. I could see it already with her theatrics. I'm telling you, Nikki, oh man, I would pay money to see that. I would pay money to see that. I would pay money to see that. And I think the reason why, so I'm a Sagittarius in Vedic astrology. And so I think that's the reason why I understand, because if I was in Nikki's shoes, being a successful woman, you have no choice but to think outside of the box of what it is you're going to look for when you have a partner. You have no choice but to when you're a successful woman. Because you're not going to be able, you can't go after money. Nikki has all the money. Nikki has all of the money. And Nikki is so skilled at what she does, you know. And she dated Nas, she dated Meek Mill, and it probably was a battle. It probably was a constant whose dick is bigger battle. And she was like, fuck this. She was like, I have the dick. She's like, nope, my dick is bigger than everyone's. I'm not putting up with this shit. She like, I'm not putting up with this shit. She was like, get me someone that isn't in the industry, someone that isn't in the industry and someone that'll let me cuss them out and be okay. And they can't do anything to me. They literally cannot do anything to me. I can't believe she ever dated Meek Mill. Like, ew. Nick off with his head menage. That was too funny. She cussed him. She cussed me. She cussed Joe Budden clean out. That was gold. That was gold. All right. I'm gonna get off of here. I'm actually gonna watch Rotten Mango because she was in the Diddy trial. I cannot wait till we start getting the details of this Diddy trial, y'all. I cannot wait until we start getting the details of this Diddy trial. I cannot wait for them to start name dropping everyone. I cannot wait for them to start exposing everyone's dirt. Oh, I'm so excited. Damn, y'all got me looking at it so different now. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. Right. I couldn't believe Riding Mango was in the courtroom, girl. Me either. Me either. So that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to watch the video that she made where she does a deep dive on how the trial was. I don't care about the Diddy trial itself. I care more about the associations with Diddy because supposedly, not supposedly, actually it is recorded. One of the deputies, he said that, you know, when the trial starts, he said it himself. He said that the names that he is going to drop, he said they are going to shock you. He said that the things that you learn about the celebrities that you know and who is involved in the case, it is going to shock you. It is going to surprise you. So, listen, I'm ready for the tea. Okay, I'm ready for the tea. I'm dehydrated myself. I'm thirsty. YouTube investigative journalism is low key going to change the world for the better. 100%. 100%. 100%. I want to know everyone involved. And if this trial, the reason why I'm so excited and I've been awaiting this trial for so long is because this allegedly, yes, this is going to collapse the house of cards that Hollywood has been built on. This collapse the house of cards that Hollywood has been built on. This is going to be the new Hollywood. I said this months ago. This social media, authenticity, real people, this is going to be the new Hollywood. This trial is going to collapse the facade of Hollywood, especially now with class consciousness. Exactly. It's the year number 9, the year of completion. The year of completion. That's it. Everything is wrapping the fuck up. Everything that you have believed in, we're wrapping it up. We're ending it. We're completing it. It is going to be done and dusted before this year is over. Like Cat Williams said, all things will be exposed. All things will be exposed. All truth will be exposed. Exactly. This year's all about purging. Yep, the Tower Tarot card. Exactly. But yeah, y'all, going ahead and watch Riding Mango. And let me know what y'all think. If someone watches it in the comments, let me know what y'all think. I hope y'all have a wonderful Saturday night and wonderful rest of y'all weekend. I'll be back with the cord cutting. Okay, we'll do the cord cutting next. So I will see y'all next time. Bye.